In this tutorial, we will be discussing the major Excel components and file extensions to get you familiar with Excel's basic structure. Excel files are referred to as workbooks. This is because a workbook is the main component or object of Excel. A workbook is simply a file that is made up of one or more worksheets. Worksheets themselves represent a range where information can be entered and stored in rows and columns. And finally, a range is a collection of individual cells. The individual cells are where information is entered or stored in Excel. As we'll see in our examples, cells can hold numbers, text, errors, and formulas. So let's take a look at the different types of files used in Excel. Excel has several file extensions that it is compatible with. The most common are listed below. Let's take a quick look at those. The first one we'll discuss is the .xLsx extension. This is the default for Excel 2007 and later. An important thing to note about this file type is that it does not support macros for security reasons. Now, macros are outside the scope of this course, but you should know that they are programs written in Excel that are typically used to automate redundant tasks. If you are working with a file where macros are needed, the workbook will have to be saved as an Excel macro-enabled workbook, or .xLSM extension. Failing to do so will result in macros being deleted. Another file type is the Excel 97 to 2003 workbook, which is denoted by a .xLS extension. This is probably the most recognized file type and was the main format for spreadsheets prior to Excel 2007. Lastly, Excel can be used to open and edit many other types of delimited files as well, such as comma-separated files, or .csv, and tab-delimited files. An important side note, over time, the different Excel spreadsheet files had different restrictions on the number of rows and columns a spreadsheet contained. Older file types, like the .xls extension, had access to less rows and columns. This can sometimes cause compatibility issues, as saving newer files with the older extension could cause you to lose data, so you need to be careful here. Now, I don't want you to get caught up in trying to remember all of the details about Excel components and file extensions verbatim. A high-level understanding will be sufficient for getting you started. In our next tutorial, we'll take a tour of Excel's user interface.